The 4 commonalities that all $1 million offers have. The first one, second up. The third is, and then number 4, you cannot charge a premium price if there isn't premium value, if the transformation isn't premium. So what I encourage you to do is solve either a big problem or solve a micro problem that many people have. You have to understand your person, your avatar, because this makes everything easier. So we have an offer where we help people get started, and we have an offer where we help rich people get richer. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Darius, man, back with another episode of Talks at the Whiteboard. All right, brand new series we started. At this level, we're helping people get to their first $1 million year, right? I have my segments where I talk funding, getting access to funding, running a funding company. That's going to take you 0 to multi-6 figures. This right here is going to get you to your $1 million, all right? So if you know that this is your 7-figure year, let me know in the chat. Drop 7-figure earner, man. But today what we want to focus on is how to cultivate and build offers that people feel dumb saying no to, right? So the problem is, if you don't know what to offer, and the offer is in exchange for either a product or a service in exchange for something else. Usually that something is money. If you want to make a lot of money, you charge a lot of money. But you cannot charge a premium price if there isn't premium value, if the transformation isn't premium. So what I encourage you to do is solve either a big problem or solve a micro problem that many people have. All right. So let me break it down to the 4 commonalities that all $1 million offers have. The first one is a promise and a pathway, all right? So some people, what they do is they say, man, I'm a jack of all trades, and there's nothing wrong with being a jack of all trades. But of course, as the saying goes, a jack of all trades is a master of none. What you want to be is you want to be the master of one thing, right? So when someone thinks of you or someone thinks of your offer, the transformation they're going to get, do they every single day think of you, hear about you, hear what you do? For years, you knew me as the funding king, the funding guy, the guy who feeds people funding. Why? Because I always talked about the promise. Well, the promise was I help entrepreneurs get access to $150,000 in 90 days or less. That was the promise I made. The pathway was my 3-step process. Everyone knows my 3-step process is foundation, optimize, and leverage. Foundation is your credit profile. Optimize is your business structure, and then leverage is the actual strategy. So when you hear this 3-step process, you start to envision yourself where you are. You're probably at the foundation where your credit is not in the greatest or it's not built. Then you think where you want to be, business structure next, and then of course maximizing on credit, whether it's credit card stacking or whatever it may be, right? But this concept goes into any business. In my inner circle, when we talk about a pathway and a promise, my promise is that I help struggling coaches get to $100,000 months, which equals their first 7-figure year, right? The pathway is we help you going from 1 to 1 to 1 to many. All right. So now I talk about the leverage of that, going from being on the phones all day, being burnt out, to now getting people in one room through virtual events like webinars and challenges, and being able to what? The second thing is go from mid-ticket to selling straight high ticket. All right. So I teach you how to sell an offer anywhere from $3,000 all the way to $30,000 offer within these virtual events. That's the second step. The third is blowing up your brand. All right, so you can continuously drive traffic from all different ways. Some of the ways we talk about: podcasts, shout out pages, influencers, Facebook ads, you name it. Second up, social proof. Social proof, social proof, social proof. Y'all, listen, this right here may be the most important. The more of this you have, the easier selling is, right? So once you get to a point where you've helped a few people either get a result, if you're not in a money-making niche, it may be a money-saving. If you're newer, you don't have a lot of client reviews, student reviews, whatever it may be, guess what? You are your testimony. What have you gone out and done? What result have you gotten? Understand this. As you get better, everything else gets easier, but I want you to start where you're at. So if your only testimonial is a micro win, that's fine. Put out the micro win. So put out social proof every day. One of the ways you can do it is screenshots. You can do a video testimonial where you can tell them, hey, can you shoot me a testimonial video talking about the results you've gotten and where you started? That's perfectly fine. One of my favorite ways is I like to do side-by-side video on Zoom with the person, or on any app with the person that allows you to be side by side. And I like to ask them and do a live testimonial. I feel like this is super, super impactful, and it allows the people to see the transparency and the results that they've gotten, right? Even better than that would be if you were in person with that person. But of course, we're in the online business, so a lot of times we're not in person, we're not in the same vicinity as that person. That's fine. Either way, 4 questions you guys can ask them, give you this gem. Where did you find me and how did you find me? What was life like before you got into our program or before you were my client? What results have we gotten you since you've been in our program? And what would you say to someone who's on the fence about joining either our program or our offer? When you do this and you ask these questions, what it does is it positions the person, the client, or the student to speak highly of the things that they have gotten the result on. Next thing we talk about, avatar. The problem is a lot of you are speaking to everybody, but as the saying goes, somebody who speaks to everybody speaks to nobody. Who is the direct person that you are looking to serve? Who is your dream customer? What do they look like? Where are they at? What do they sell? What is their disposition? What outcomes they're looking for, right? You have to understand your person, your avatar, because this makes everything easier. So we have an offer where we help people get started, and we have an offer where we help rich people get richer, right? But the point is, I sell one based off a belief system, getting them to believe in themselves, because these are the things that you find these people need to get started, which is going to help them to get to that place where they're now seasoned, right? But the number one thing I'm selling when I'm talking to my avatar at the C-level consumer is I need to get them to develop a belief. If I don't shift their beliefs, I can't shift their pockets, meaning I can't help them make more money or change their lives because they already have limiting beliefs. They've already been taught all of the wrong things in life. They've already been taught that the number one way is to go to work, save, get a 401k, and just die. I have to change who that person is internally to get them to become someone new so that they can have more, so that they can live the life that they want. The other person, B2B, I don't have to do so much mindset. Now, again, my job is to still pull more out of them. So me doing, as someone who's doing $300,000-$400,000 a month, yes, if I have someone at $40,000, $50,000, there's a lot more mindset. Now it becomes logic and transformation. That's what I sell. What I like to call it is the gap. We sell the gap. You're doing $20,000, $30,000 a month. You want to get to $100,000 a month. The gap is scaling with more leverage. All right. Time, speed. What does that come from? Okay, they're probably doing one-on-one burnout calls. They're probably on phones all day, or they're probably doing just the service. Well, I want to take them from servicing to now serving the people. One-to-many buys back more time, gets them off phone. One-to-many allows for a better buying environment, and one-to-many allows them to make more money faster. Right, so I squeeze the time gap, I squeeze the convenience gap, and I squeeze the gap, the gap of convenience. And then number 4, all $1 million offers have a community, y'all. A third of mentorship is about the teacher, the coach, the person who runs the community. The other third is about the people going out and doing the work, getting in the field. But the biggest and most important and most underrated factor in any program is the people who are in the community. If you have a program that has other people who are getting results, when other people pay, yes, they're paying for you, your access, your information, but what they're paying for is to develop what I call day 2s. Yes, I'm cool with my day 1s. I've gotten rich with my day 2s. Why? Because we think alike. People hang around who they are around. When I was an athlete, I hung with athletes. When I was in the nightlife, I hung with other people in the nightlife. Now that I'm an entrepreneur, I hang with other entrepreneurs. So what you're doing is you are giving them an environment that is conducive to them growing a mindset, skill set, and tool set, right? So a third is about building something that makes people want to cultivate relationships, grow together, and build together outside of just the times we have calls. For example, I force people, I tell you, your homework first week is you need to get one to 3 sparring partners. What are sparring partners? Sparring partners are people who every single week, you guys are going to get on a call. You guys are going to check in what's working, what's not working. Or what did you do this week? You guys are going to create a checklist. You're going to hold each other accountable the next week. And if you don't do what you said the previous week, what is that punishment going to look like? What is that reinforcement going to look like? How do we make sure that we're not lacking, right? Because if you want to go fast, of course you go alone. But if you want to go further, you go together, y'all. So a community is going to be so important. And you also, when I talk about community, I talk about bringing people together. I talk about cultivating in-person events where people can now build internally. Because a lot of when we're online is great, right? It's great. But when people come together, magic things always happens. People make stronger connections. People are more inspired. It evokes the emotion of growth, of exponential growth, of abundance. And most importantly, people now know that you're a real person and not just a person behind the screen as the coach. All right. So 4 things that all $1 million offers have, y'all. If you like this video, I want you to like, share, subscribe, Comment, let me know what you thought. If you guys love it, I'll keep putting more of them out. If you don't, I'm all set. Listen, if you're a person who's looking to get to $100,000 a month, $100,000 a day, and of course your first $1 million year, my inner circle is taking applications. Now, I want to be very clear. This is not for everyone. I want to be honest. 80% of people who apply do get denied. If you are someone who's in that 20%, we would love to take you on, love to help you, love to teach you how to sell, close, pitch, teach you our virtual event framework, whether it's webinars, 3-day challenges, 5-day challenges, you name it, we've done it. I've made close to, not yet, $10 million online in the past 2.5 years. And I love breaking down all my secrets and helping people get to that next level, right? In order to be qualified, just a heads up, you have to be making at least $20,000 a month consistently. And you need to have been someone who either has an audience and has an offer that you would like to go out and give your gift to the world with, or someone who is already running webinars or some sort of virtual events and you're looking to scale. If that's you, what I want you to do is click the application, and I can't wait to talk to you. All right, listen, we're out of here with another episode of Talks on the Whiteboard. See y'all next time.